So, guess who's finally filming her second video? To be fair, I was gonna film this sooner. And as we all know, USPS is suffering right now. So it took a little longer than I anticipated. And then on top of that, I was like, let me have a full-time job and do YouTube, which maybe was not the best idea. But this video is basically going to be a haul. I have this wonderful friend Zach who gives me many books just at random, just a big old package of a bunch of books, and I want to go through it with you guys and, you know, just show you what books he sent me and all that good stuff. The thing I like about the hauls that I get from Zach, though, is that Zach does not go through my Goodreads. He is like, I think you'll like this and I'm sending it to you. And I've found a lot of books I probably would have never heard of thanks to Zach. So shout out to the homie, but let's get into it. So first and foremost, we have How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. I've heard so much about N.K. Jemisin and I've still yet to read anything of hers, so I'm really happy to have this. I know that like The City We Became was a huge deal recently, so this is gonna be cool. I really like the cover. I would tell you what it's about, but I don't know, because the back is just like, hey, the New York Times says it's astounding, and I'm like, what is it about though? And they're like, we're not gonna tell you. We're just going to tell you what various newspapers think. So when I read it, I will perhaps post something about it, but I am very excited for this one. Supernatural Noir. Next one in the haul. I really also like this cover just because it gives me heavy Edgar Allan Poe vibes. So this is what I mean when I say Zach sends me things that I feel I would have never bothered getting in the first place, because this is short stories and I feel like I'm not much of a short story person. I usually tend to go for full novels, as you may see, but this is going to be something interesting, especially because he knows I like my spooky stuff. So Her Body and Other Parts, another one I haven't heard of. The description is super vague, but part of the description is that it is queer and sexy. I feel like it's also sad, but queer and sexy, you know, kind of puts me in it from the get-go. So yet another good one from the Zach. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and I went through these before I filmed it because I was like, it's gonna take me forever to go through this if I do not try to read the back of these books first, because like I said, I don't know a lot of them, and that's cool. But next we have this one, and it's one of the ones I'm really excited for. I feel like I'm gonna read this one first once I'm done with A Little Life, which is what I'm currently reading, which is very long but very good so far. This one basically takes place in Barcelona after World War II, and the protagonist finds a book called Shadow of the Wind, and he is trying to find more books by the author that made Shadow of the Wind, and he's finding out that people are just like destroying all the copies, and he's trying to find out why. And that's exactly the kind of thing I love. I love any book that incorporates books into it, like a weird bookception. I'm vibing with it. I'm excited. Gideon the Ninth. This one I have heard of before, someone that I follow on Instagram read it recently and absolutely loved it. It does have necromancing lesbians. What more could I ask for? That's like all I'm gonna say on this one. No, it seems really good. I don't know if it's YA or not. Usually I don't read much YA, but regardless, I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it. Just look at that. I want to kiss her. The Thousand Doors of January, which also just, I want to say, has a beautiful cover. This is another one that incorporates books into its plot, and I'm really excited for this one. You know, she basically finds a strange book that kind of tells stories about herself, but in like a strange world. And I already know I'm gonna fall in love with this. Anyone on BookTube has probably heard of The Turn of the Key. I have not read Ruth Ware, I don't think. And if I have, I just don't remember. But I'm excited for this one. I've heard somewhat mixed reviews on it, but you know what? That's why I didn't look into these on like Goodreads or anything, because I feel like the second I see other people's ratings, I'm like, what if I shouldn't read it? What if I'm wrong to like something? Which is silly, which is why I'm trying not to do that for any of these. I want to go in blind with my own thoughts and opinions. So I will try to do this one soon. I do like that it has like that, like, you know, scratchiness. You'll notice that I'm really big on book covers, and I know it's not what's important, like the meat and potatoes of the book is not in the cover, but I feel like a good cover really just makes you want to take it in, and just something about a pretty cover just makes me want to pick up the book and it just makes me want to bask in it. And I love me a good cover. Inspection. This one has to do with a boy named Jay, and there's 26 other people. It sounds like they're clones, but are they clones? I don't know. But he's trying to find out outside of this facility that he lives in. He meets a girl. So is it going to be clones in love? Perhaps. The Dreamers. Super pretty colors. There's a sleeping sickness. People are starting to fall asleep and not wake up. And it looks like their brain activity, crazy. And we're like, oh, what are they dreaming about? We want to know. So that's this one. This one was shorter than I expected it to be. I've heard of that one. Not what it's like officially about. I don't know like spoilers or anything. I can already tell editing this is going to be a nightmare because I keep talking as I walk away from the camera like a fool. Another cover that I love. This is based in some African lore. It has shapeshifters and I am pumped. If it feels like I'm going through these really fast, let me know. I feel like when I wanted to do my first haul, I didn't expect it to be this many books. So I don't want you to have to watch me for like 40 minutes explaining everything. Oh, my neighbors called me filming. I'm embarrassed. Where was I? Okay, so I just didn't want to film for like 100 years and then have all of you be like, get to the point. But if you think I should slow down, I can absolutely do that in future videos, but we still have a lot of books to get through, so. Kill the Farm Boy. This already sounds hilarious and sarcastic. I love that it says once upon a time. I know this is just gonna be a lighthearted, good fun read, which is something you need now and again. If a little life wrecks me how I think it's gonna wreck me, this actually might be my next book. The Jungle Book. You may notice off to the side, I love classics. I really like them. There's something about pretending that I'm in a Jane Austen novel that really makes life worth living. I've never read The Jungle Book, so I'm actually really excited to finally get this. You know, only good things. All I really know about The Jungle Book is like the bare necessities, so learning experience. Whose Middle Ages? I feel like this one was really specifically targeted towards me because I am obsessed with the Middle Ages and just any sort of historical time period. I really like history overall. And this one's cool. It's just about misconceptions and things like that and how we portray the Middle Ages now versus like what it actually is. So I feel like I'm just gonna eat this one up. And especially I don't read a lot of nonfiction. So that's a good start. The Power. This one sounds really interesting. It's that, you know, all is the same in the world, except pretty suddenly teenage girls and young women can like kill people because they're so freaking strong. And it's just kind of like how that dynamic of just women being super physically powerful changes a lot. And I'm like, that's cool as hell because, you know, sometimes you have to wonder how society would be if, you know, the roles were reversed. So I like books that explore that concept. So this is Hollywood North. I will say quickly that something that attracted me to this is just look how cute this is, that like the page numbers are like little film reel stuff. Isn't that cute as hell? I love when books get creative with their design choices and things like that. Again, it doesn't like take away or add to the reading experience, but I do feel like, how do I say this? It gives me like happy feelings. That's all. That's all. The Gargoyle. I'm not gonna pretend to say that I understood what the sleeve was telling me in this description. It was very ominous and vague, but I'm about it. I like this. It's cool. This is an unrelated side note. I recently got a tattoo in this similar area it hurts a lot. So my friend Zach is a mailman, and I say this because he sent me a horror book called The Mailman, and I feel like he's self-inserting. If you knew Zach, he'd absolutely be an evil mailman. In this one, it looks like the town's original mailman died a very tragic death. It upsets everyone, and then they get a sudden ominous mailman, and people are dying. So this one just looks good. I also like the cover. It reminds me not of the 80s, but do you know like the older covers that used to exist that were just kind of like campy, but in a really lovable way? That's what that reminds me of. Joplin's Ghost. This one is very musically based. It looks like it has a lot to do with, I want to say, jazz music. I've never read a book that has music that hasn't captured me, and I'm hoping this will be the one to change that. I feel like it's because like when a song is sung in a book, I'm like, I can't picture what that sounds like. But I am hoping that I like that one. I think out of all of them, that's the one I'm the most like, will I like it? Will I not like it? But every time I thought I wouldn't like something, I end up really loving it. So I guess we shall see. Let me tell you how we're still not done, and there's still quite a few left. We Sold Our Souls. This is a very cool cover that really does look like the Rolling Stones. It's by Grady Hendrix. I have read one of his books before, My Best Friend's Exorcism, and I did really enjoy it. I know he has other ones that I have yet to read, but I am excited for this one. I like how involved he is with his characters, at least from what I got from the one book I've read. So far I'm a fan. Let's see if that continues. Dead in the Water. This sounds like crime and supernatural. And I also just like these type of books, and especially that it has yellow used pages. I feel like I'm not good at the booktube thing, and I feel like the reason I feel like I'm not doing good is because I'm going so damn fast, and I feel like I'm not being descriptive enough. But I'm hoping that if any of you guys have read any of these, you could tell me what you thought of it, if my very vague brief descriptions are spot on and right, if you like any of these authors, or you know, just if you think any of these look more interesting than the others. I would love for y'all to be involved. Going Postal, yet another mail-related book. I love Terry Pratchett. I love Discworld. This is just, if you don't know Discworld, it's just like very dry British humor, but you gotta love it. If you saw Good Omens on, I don't remember what streaming service, I think Prime, and you liked it, I'd say just read anything Terry Pratchett. He really is chef's kiss, great writer. The Witch Elm. This one is another one that I was kind of like, I don't fully know what you're trying to tell me. It does seem... I have a dog. Willow! Willow, say hi. No? We want to bark? Anyway, The Witch Elm. So it seems to be a mystery of some sort. There is a skull found in a tree. He has to question his past. It is a thick boy. I am excited for this one. Finally, we have Crash Override. This one is a memoir. If some of you are familiar with Gamergate, then you might know what this is about. For those of you not familiar with Gamergate, there was basically a situation where a lovely young woman had horrible rumors spread about her amongst the gaming industry, and it started this whole discussion about women's place in game development. I guess that would be the most watered down version of what happened, but it was a rather big deal at the time. And this book seems to focus more on how to deal with internet backlash and bullying, which I guess is something I need to inspire confidence. I feel like I'm gonna say this wrong, so I'm just gonna try. I think it's Arat. Could be wrong. This is one that when I read the description, I was like, oh yes, oh yes. So basically, this couple finds in like the middle of a snowy wilderness and a mountain what they believe to be Noah's Ark. So big deal. And a bunch of people come to see the Ark, and then they find a tomb. And they're like, we're gonna open this tomb. And then they do not find what they think would be Jesus, perhaps, or just some sort of ancient biblical figure. They find a decrepit corpse with horns, and then they get locked in there, and then something is hearing their prayers. I am so excited for this one. It's actually bananas. And it's also pretty short. And I love me my spooky books. I don't know how you guys feel about comics and manga and things like that, but we're gonna get into those. Got Junji Ito. You can't see it because of the angle that this is at. If I try to move this, I'm gonna break everything, but let's try. Nope, it's not gonna work. I'm bad at YouTube. But I do have a Junji Ito collection. I have a good amount of his collections. This is one of the ones I was missing. I love Junji Ito. He does really disturbing body horror type art, so if you're not into that, I would not recommend him. But if you are, give him a go. Just his art alone makes it worth it. Some of his stories aren't the best, but I feel like for the most part, I'd give them solid like 8.5 out of 10 most of the time. Then we got One Punch Man. If you've seen One Punch Man, or if you know about One Punch Man, this is not what this man looks like. Not really, not truly. But One Punch Man is in essence about this guy that could defeat any enemy with one punch, but as you could imagine, that makes being a superhero not super fulfilling. Mail Order Ninja. We are keeping up this mail theme. Got 2 of these. Don't know what they're about. Gonna find out when I read them. But it does have Big Sister is watching you, so I'm sure it's going to be delightful. Attack on Titan Volume 1. If you don't know, I love me some anime. I've been trying to get more into manga. Attack on Titan is one of my #1 animes of all time. I am so excited to get into the manga because similar to books, mangas a lot of the time will be way more detailed than the media that represents them. So like, you know, movies and shows might cut out a lot. So I can't wait to see the more in-depth look at a series I love. Battle Royale. If you're not familiar with Battle Royale, it was also a movie, and I believe at the time that Hunger Games came out, everyone was like, this is just a knockoff of Battle Royale. Kids killing each other. The book. Bride Story. Don't know what this one is. Can't tell you, but I did look through it a little bit just to look at the art. I feel like manga art's always really pretty. This one's really elaborately detailed. Let me just show you a page so you could see what I mean. Look at all that detail. Isn't that nice? So I'm excited for this one. Also, you know, it doesn't take place in Japan. It goes into different parts of the world, and who doesn't love that? I'm trying to go in like a discernible order of like books, manga, comic, but the last series is very long. It's a manga series, so I'm gonna do that one last. As you can see, there's many of these here. This is the New Mutants, it's X-Men, it's a classic, it's good. I would like for you guys to let me know if you want to hear more about comics and manga. I feel like it's not as common on BookTube. I have seen BookTubers cover some like independent comics and cover some manga here and there, but if you'd like to see a video specifically centered around comics and manga, that'd be something I'd really love to do. It's just I'm trying to gauge my audience here. Are we trying to go for novels? Are we trying to go for anything? I mean, realistically, you don't have a choice. It's whatever I film and you have to watch it. But I would like this to be engaging. This is the last manga series that I've received. I feel like it's Pluto, but I could be reading it wrong, because who can read? But again, another one I don't know much about. I think Zach told me it has to do with robots. I don't know how much I love robots in manga, but you know what? We're giving it a go. So that was this video. That's everything. It is so many. My shelves are going to be full already, and I'm excited to read all of this. I feel like my next video might be, you know, the books that I've read recently, or maybe like my top 10 books. Generally, just so maybe you guys have a better vibe for like what I'm into. But I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was really rushed. I'm filming this on my lunch break. So hopefully this is good because I can't refilm it. So here's to hoping. But yeah, just let me know what you guys would like to see. I still haven't thought of an outro, so we're still not doing that. But thanks for watching.